What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and today I'm back with another 100 movies I've missed update. Now, at the beginning of the year, actually in December, I said my New Year's goal, my New Year's resolution, is that I'm going to watch 100 movies that I had never seen for the first time. So it could be classic movies, Best Picture winners, movies I'd seen parts of on TV but never finished. I originally did my first video, I did 25 movies, and I said I'm only going to do 4 updates, and then from there, I have done every 10 movies. I will give you guys an update, so 35, 45, 55, I did updates for those, and now I've reached 65 movies, so I am well on my way to finishing this thing. I've slowed down a little bit, so I need to pick up the pace a little. There's some really good movies in here. I haven't done one of these updates since July, I want to say, so it has been a while. I apologize for that. I'm going to try and pick up the pace again here, finish the year with a bang. So the first movie that I watched was Caddyshack. Now, this is an absolute comedy classic. It stars Chevy Chase and Bill Murray, and Bill Murray steals the show for me. I wish that it would have just been a movie focusing on him trying to get the gopher, because his scenes were absolutely hilarious. They were the best in the movie to me. And the story itself was good. It was like interesting, but honestly, it did drag a little at times. I didn't love the movie, but it was a really solid time. I would watch it again. Like if it was on Netflix, I would throw it on for sure. The next movie I watched is Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights. Now, I picked this movie up in a recent Blu-ray haul, and I absolutely love this movie. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I equate it to the first time I watched like Pulp Fiction or Inglourious Bastards, these epic Tarantino films that just build tension so well. That's how I felt when I watched Boogie Nights for the first time, especially the second half of this movie. There's a sequence that just, the tension just builds and builds, and my goodness, I was locked into that scene. But even seeing the rise and fall of Dirk Diggler, very well done across the board. This is the movie that really launched my love for PTA, because before I saw this, I wasn't crazy about him, but this movie really skyrocketed him in my overall director's ranking. He made me even start the director journey series that I'm doing, so I love Boogie Nights. I'm so glad I watched it. The next movie I watched is an 80s classic starring Patrick Swayze, Dirty Dancing. Yes, I had never seen this movie entirely, which sounds crazy, I know. I had seen clips, I'd seen like the final dance number, but I'd never watched the movie, and it was a really fun time. It was a solid movie. I don't know if I'll rewatch this one as much as others, but I'm glad that I sat down and finally watched it. I can finally say
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
without feeling wrong for having not seen the movie. It drags a little bit. There's a lot of romantic scenes that go on a little too long for my liking. The final act is probably my favorite of this movie. Overall, I did enjoy Dirty Dancing. The next movie I watched is another PTA movie, Magnolia. This is his epic film. It's like 3 hours and 8 minutes. It's got a really great ensemble from William H. Macy, Julianne Moore, Tom Cruise, who got an Oscar nomination, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. There's even more actors in here, but those are like the main core group of characters. It's 3 hours. It doesn't feel like 3 hours. It feels like about 2 hours and 15 minutes, so I have to give credit to PTA for the pacing, and his direction is just really brilliant. The story, it's so unique, and it hooks you from the intro as there are these coincidences that happen, and it makes you think about how a lot of things are connected without you even knowing, and how close different groups of people are in their everyday lives, and how every decision you make affects future decisions and other people. It's just really brilliant. The next movie I watched is a Best Picture winner, probably from the most controversial Oscars of all time, and that is Moonlight. I had not seen Moonlight. I finally watched it for the first time. I'd been putting this movie off because I was so upset, because I love La La Land. It's one of my all-time favorites. And I was like, there's no way this movie's better. And was it better than La La Land? In my opinion, it wasn't. However, it was still a great movie. A really good movie. Mahershala Ali kills it in like the first 20 minutes he's in. He won an Oscar for this movie, which is like, yeah, he was really powerful in the movie. His presence on screen was felt. But I think Lucas Hedges in Manchester by the Sea, I might have given it to him, which is a hot take, I know, but don't get me wrong, I love the movie. It's a really good coming-of-age story. The writing is very powerful. I like the score in this movie. The cinematography is gorgeous. There's multiple shots I can think of right now that are like just iconic already. The movie is a movie I think everyone should see. It's a powerful, socially relevant film, and I am glad that I finally gave it a chance because I enjoyed the movie. The next movie I actually did a review of on the channel, which is Dial M for Murder, and that's an Alfred Hitchcock film. The reason I did a review was because Nathan Hale over at Nathan Hale Movies launched Alfred Hitchcock Month, and I said I'm going to take part in that. I'm going to support Nathan, awesome YouTuber, and I also want to talk Hitchcock because I never really get to do that on the channel, and I had so much fun with this movie. It's like one of the classic murder mysteries. Alfred Hitchcock's a director I want to keep exploring. I've only seen 6 of his movies now. This was the 6th, and it's a very fast-paced film. I like how it's got a unique take on the murder mystery genre, as early on you kind of see the planning, and then you see maybe it goes wrong later on. Like, that is an interesting premise to me, instead of it being basic murder mystery where like oh, a murder happens, and now we have to figure out what happened. It's like a reversal of that almost, which is very awesome to me. We don't see that often. And I think this set the stage for future murder mysteries. This is a brilliant movie, had a ton of fun with it, and it's probably one of my new favorite Hitchcock movies. The next movie I watched was Big Trouble in Little China. I have to give a big thank you to Nathan Jones if you're watching. He's got an awesome YouTube channel, great friend, and he actually sent a copy of this to me. So thank you. I really did appreciate that. I had a ton of fun with this movie. This is just 80s cheesy action fun. It's so self-aware of what it is, and John Carpenter directed it. It stars Kurt Russell, the man himself, and it is so over the top. So if you watch this movie, don't expect some serious like war drama film. It's very cheesy. I'm happy that I own this one. This is one I'll probably try and watch every year, every other year. The next movie I watched is True Romance, written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Tony Scott. I was not crazy about this movie. This was the most disappointing of the bunch this time around. It was written by Tarantino, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this movie. There's no way I'm not. And maybe it was the mood I was in that day, because like I just wasn't feeling it maybe. It was a very slow-paced film, and it didn't have like the direction of Tarantino. It had the dialogue of Tarantino, but it was very odd in my opinion. It felt out of place. Like I was bored for about an hour of this movie. And it's weird that I'm saying this because I thought I was going to love it. It just didn't compel me as much. It was overly romantic, and like I didn't care for the characters as much early on, which just felt really off-putting to me. And then the score was like really whack. And I think Hans Zimmer maybe even did this. I could be wrong, but it's a very bizarre score for the tone of the movie, in my opinion. And overall, I just didn't really click with this one. I wanted to love it. It's just probably not one I'm ever going to want to watch again. The next movie I watched is another Best Picture winner, Spotlight. This movie came out in 2015. It stars Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams, and Mark Ruffalo. Really has a stellar cast. That's probably the highlight of this movie, is how phenomenal the cast is. This is like right when Keaton was like the year after he got nominated for Birdman, and he was starting to have a renaissance in a sense. He's still going. That man is awesome. I love Michael Keaton. Mark Ruffalo and Rachel McAdams actually got Oscar nominations for this movie. So the stellar cast really upholds this movie, really makes it a strong film. For a film that's subject matter is very emotionally draining, I did in fact feel the runtime because it was so hard to watch these interviews as it takes place in the field of journalism, uncovering a scandal in the Catholic Church. Some of those interviews were really gruesome, the details they went into. The final product, it captivates the events perfectly. It really shines a light on this sketchy situation. I'm happy this movie won Best Picture. I think it's a solid movie. It's not one I'm going to rewatch ever, probably, just because of the subject matter. And, like, it's a little long on the longer end, but, like, it's still such a well-crafted movie. I can't complain on that end. And the last movie that I watched in this 100 Movies I Missed update is Clueless. I actually got the Steelbook because I was with Cam, my girlfriend, and she picked it up for me. I watched the movie last night, actually, and I really had a fun time with it. Paul Rudd does not age. I will say that right now. The man ages like fine wine. He can do no wrong, in my opinion. I love me some Paul Rudd. But anyway, the plot itself, it took a little while to get going. I was like, okay, where are we going with this? And then once a certain character gets introduced and like the premise really kicks in, I was on board with it. Like it's a little cheesy at times, some of the dialogue, but it's also just captures the late 90s like high school feel. I didn't think I was gonna laugh this much, but I had quite a few moments where I was laughing out loud. So that's always great with movies like this, where you don't think you're gonna enjoy it as much as you do, and you have a good time. And like by the end of it, I was like, okay, this is a feel-good movie. This is right up my alley. This is one I'll want to watch with my girlfriend, or if I'm just like feeling down and I want something to pick me up. It falls in the category of like a rom-com almost, as those movies usually make you feel good by the end. That's what I felt with Clueless, and I'm very happy I own the movie now. It's got a really cool steelbook, and I'm happy that I've seen it. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for this 100 Movies I Missed update. Sorry it's been so long since I've done one. It's just hard for me to find time to watch 10 movies sometimes because I'm watching new movies, trying to watch some TV shows, and then I want to rewatch a bunch of stuff too because I'm like that. And then I'm also doing the PTA journey, so I have 2 more PTA movies to watch as well. I'll probably end up including those on the 100 Movies I Missed project, but overall I am having fun with this journey. We've only got a few more months left in the year, so I have to pick up the pace. I got 35 movies to go. I think I can do this thing. Thank you all for sticking around. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely consider hitting the like button. Comment down below what you think of the movies that I've watched so far. What are some movies that you've missed that you need to get around to soon? And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean the world. I'm really having fun with the channel, so stay tuned for future live streams, collabs, all that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.